All right, people be asking me, when are you going to have the mod list for 1.8.6, huh? Right now is when, and here it is. It's on my Discord server. I am an Economist Plays on Discord. That's the name of my channel there. And there is now a channel, it's announcements only, so there's no additional text. I'm the only one that posts here. The mod list. And this is a link to every single mod that I use. I copied and pasted and copied and pasted because this is actually a lot easier than maintaining a a workshop collection. I've tried that before and I hate it. So don't ever ask me for a workshop collection. I'm just going to say no. You could, but I'll say no. If you like hearing me say no, then that's the perfect question to ask. But if you want to have an actual list that I maintain, here it is. Now, we've also got this available as a downloadable text file and as a JSON file. The text file looks like this. It's called the mod list, and it's a bunch of mods on a list. It's basically all these things, but in TXT format. If you use that, you have to copy the link and then paste it and then click on it. But it's very lightweight and transportable. If that's how you want to use it, that's how you get to use it. If you want to make a direct import of these mods into your game, I also have it saved as a JSON file. I'll keep the current one here, and I've got some instructions to go with it. Now, to do that, you go into your launcher and you go to your playsets, and then you see these two arrows here. All right, these little up-down arrows. You can click now on Import Playset, and it will say drag file here or choose from computer. That's where you bring in the JSON that I produced. You can bring it in there. Now, when you do that, the playlist will be imported and it should download the mods for you. Give it time. When you start it up again, if it's updating mods, and you'll see this little green bar here in the top, let it finish before you even click on anything else in the launcher. Some people have reported crashes if they go directly from the home to the playsets page while that green bar is doing its thing. So if you've imported the JSON, just let it sit for a little bit, let it do all the downloading, and then come back to it. Sometimes you have to import the playset, then delete it and import it again after it's already got all the mods on there. There's some weird stuff that happens with it. But one method that always works is to click on every single mod that I have linked. And that's what I do. If I mean, I don't use the JSON because I build it. I actually go to the Steam Workshop, click the link, and install the mod. And you can do the same way here. It'll still work. So we've got the text file, the JSON file, and the links here on my server. I used to have everything in the Victoria 3 channel. Now it's in the mod list channel. And it's called the mod list because it's the list of mods. If you're trying to contact the moderators, different list. That's the moderator list, not the mod list. And you're trying to contact somebody who makes mods, that's the modder list, not the mod list. So keep them all separate. Anyway, what do I have here on my 1.8.6? I've carried over a lot of these from early days in Victoria 3, and I'm glad to do that. These are some solid things. So we first have the unofficial hotfix mod. I always load that first because that is essentially like all the vanilla loads, and then this comes in. This is a very important one to have because it'll fix a lot of things that are broke, and it's about to become vanilla when they have the next patch out. So I load that. Clear sky, get rid of my clouds. Terrain exterminator, get rid of the terrain. I don't like having the hills and trees and things like that. Now, it does mean that if I'm playing on the map that's got the really dark blue ocean, it's like, so I'll use a different map in my theme when I run this guy. But these two together are essentially paper map and only paper map all the way down. And this does a really good job of actually keeping the colors when you're at the closest zoom. There was an earlier mod that the colors would bleach out if you got a full zoom in, but this keeps them all the way down. I love that. It's strong. Global stats will allow me to see how things are relative to the rest of the world. I like having those informations there. More informative panel tooltips. This is one that it'll change the GUI on the side. Now I'm going to bring that up because all of these are going to change something somewhere. That's why they're mods. But you have to know that when things change in the game, mods that work with those areas may have to be retired or rewritten in order to work with it. For example, more informative panel tooltips had to be redone when block memberships were added on the side. It had to be able to account for that. So if and when 1.9 comes out, if they add something to that particular tooltip panel on the left-hand side of the screen, this would have to be redone. By the same notion, Global Stats works with some elements of the GDP in the header and some pop-ups. Uh, Both of these just change the way the map is displayed. So they're remarkably long-lived. As long as that mechanic is not touched in an upcoming patch, and it probably won't be because no one's complaining about, the map. No, it's like, oh, the map, yeah. So those can pretty much stay the way they are for a very long time. When we get to this GDP plotline plus, this is impacting, again, a pop-up thing when you hover over GDP. So you're only going to get like one of these kinds of mods to work. If you have something else that's doing something else with GDP, it may contend with this one, and whichever one is either loaded last or whichever one has it has the as the name of the file that is last loaded will have the impact. So if they both modify the same file, last loaded wins. If the first one loaded is like zzz underscore and then it has then does all the mods, and the other one doesn't, the one that has the that gets loaded last because it's alphabetical last will have precedence. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry, but I know I'm close. If I'm wrong, I know I'm so close to the answer. You're going to get one chance with each of these mods to modify certain things, and you'll have to. If there's another GDP mod you like or something else that I'm talking about you like more, you make the choice. But you can make those choices because now I've got it linked every one of them. You can click, 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 click. Ha ha ha. And if you're wondering how long is this mod list, I've got 70 here. So strap in, kids. Here we go. Visible goods shortage. This is a beautiful one on the right hand side of the screen. Again, if that area gets changed up, this has to get redone too. But I love it because, well, you can see what it shows you there. I get to see my top goods that are in deficit, my top goods that are in surplus, and I know exactly how much I have when I have a shortage, whether it's a big one or a little one. So if I'm like short by 54, trade will probably fix that. If I'm short by 2,000, maybe I shouldn't have suddenly switched over to that particular production method. I should perhaps ease my way in as I build the things that are going to supply that particular need. Yes. Okay, better save game delete button, like the title says. And again, this is something that lasts a very long time. Extra top bar info. This one with 1.8, there's like a little bit of a glitchiness at the top. It doesn't change the way it looks. It's just not entirely solid. So there may be parts at the very, very top that you're going, oh, that could be better. But the rest of the information is solid. I love it. I love having all of this at a glance and not have to click through to get to it. Both this one and price tag are showing that they're not ready for the current version, but they do work with it. I have tested. In fact, all of the ones here that I have active are tested with the current version of the game, and they're working fine. Price tag will show you additional price information with different goods so you know where you stand with them, and you don't have to keep clicking around to figure out, should I build this factory? It'll tell you the price of this good is this. And you go, oh, okay, well then it's a high price, I should build that. GDP ownership display is really good for showing who owns what in your market. Hover over it and you'll see what percent of your market is owned by other people and what percent of your GDP is basically because of your purchases in other markets. It really, really telling. And it'll even have a top 10 list of all the investors in your market and all the markets you're invested in. It's some good stuff there. So you'll know, especially when you're trying to build out your block and you're trying to invest in a potential block member, you'll see where you stand relative to other competitors and know if you need to invest more or you're cool, you could just let it ride. Very handy there. Choose map color. Sometimes I'll disable this mod, or I'll just run it one time and then clear because it's always going to give you a pop-up that says choices or journal decisions available if it's on. So if I don't want to have decisions available turning on all the time, I'll disable the mod, and then I'll turn it on when I need to change the color of my country, and then there's an option in here to just dismiss it entirely. But if I think I might need to change the color again, I'll just reload the game without the mod active. You could add it and remove it. It's not going to mess up your playthrough. But if you gotta fix your color of Germany, this is the way to do it. Power plant not local and transportation not local both go together. These make power plants and transportation not local goods, but they're within your market. Now they're not tradable with other countries, but they are such that if you have lots of power being generated here and nothing being generated here, whatever's excess here can feed into that. Same for transportation. It's needed for the game. It just is needed for the game. Famous infamy. I like higher infamy thresholds, and I think this is actually it's not in vanilla, but it is something that people are talking about. Might make its way in there. It just means that in order to get to the notorious level, you've got to, or sorry, to get to infamous level, you have to get 50. To get to notorious, you have to be at 75, and then 100 is still, oh my gosh, you're a fiend. If you get over 100 in either vanilla or this, wow. Irregular nerf, you still need to make irregulars weaker, otherwise you're not going to Victorian era hapless countries. Rarer powerful interest groups, this makes 25% the threshold for the interest group rather than 20, so getting a powerful interest group is going to be rarer here. Still need to fix the Boxer Rebellion. We still need to fix the defensive recapture so it doesn't take the entire province because you're defending. You just get a little bit at a time. You want to retake a province, you've got to go on the attack. Urban center electricity generation will allow cities to generate. It's a production method you could use that will actually turn on the lights, and you won't have to be building power plants at the very beginning of the game just to scramble and get ready for it. Cold water ports makes it harder to play Russia. It will nerf the ports that they have. I like that. It goes very well with better natural harbor, which takes natural harbors and makes them happier and nicer and stuff. No flu. It will show that it's not for the current version, but it still works. And until they fix the pandemics, we don't want them. We don't want them. Because if the flu kicks off, there's nothing you can do about it, essentially. You'll just get spammed with events, and you'll try to fix things, and it won't ever work. So, sweet, sweet, sweet victory means now you get more prestige from your victories. And the prestige will also accrue to your commanders, so that makes them more popular. Nice. You need to fix welfare payments so that way it won't wreck your economy when you turn on poor laws, or if you have poor laws active and it's not going to kill you dead. You'll be able to ease your way into welfare with this one. Upgradable everything. It means you just click the button and everything upgrades. This helps the AI, especially with the Navy. As a human user, sometimes I play with the rule that says, no, I'm not going to do that. And then somebody else convinced me that, no, actually you could with your Navy. So like, yeah, but still with my Army, I'm not going to just turn my cavalry into light tanks because I have a lot of cavalry by 1904 and they're not all ready to become light tanks. I should build those out separately. And mechanized infantry is like, what? No, that's Hoi 4, not here. Come on, man. Come on. Sink and stay sunk is really strong for making sure your boats stay sunk, and it makes naval combat a lot more fun, especially when somebody loses. You're like, it's not like, they'll be back, or they'll be back. They stay sunk. And with it, military wages impact prestige from the Navy, and I've got another one that fixes the naval battle size, which is good. This will fix it to where the AI will upgrade the military production methods. That's good. And this one for doubling incorporation speed. I think it just should go faster. That's just me. So that way things get done during the game. Some of these that I have are what are quality of life fixes because they will fix the GUI or fix other elements or fix the AI. And some of these are historical tweaks where we think, as a historian, I think the way the game goes doesn't show everything just exactly. You need to do this to make it more historical. And some of these are more gameplay tweaks. Like maybe it's not historical to incorporate these countries, these little provinces right away, but maybe it is better for the game if I can incorporate them more quickly. It's, whatever. Investment rights last longer. This is one of those gameplay ones. So that way your rights will last for 5 years. There's a malice on it. So that way they can't be canceled right away. And suddenly all the factories you're trying to build that took too long or cut off, you have a chance to actually finish building your factories before somebody goinks them. Fixing government throughput is something that needs to be done to help the. Again, this is a call you can make where you think, there's too much malice on government throughput. Let's take care of that. Same thing on government debt. Let's fix that. Less production in subsistence farms. Some of you love subsistence farms making everything they do. I don't. I want them to where they're not pumping out cloth, liquor, and clothing. I want to have that come out of my textile mills and liquor mills and things like that. And so make them less productive. This will also mean that they're more likely to leave the subsistence farms and go to work in factories or organized activities like that. Pop demand tweak is great for increasing demand for certain goods in the game. This is nice. This is a very good thing to have. Hyper aggressive pop merging. Somebody wanted that, and now here it is. There are different settings on it. I don't have it on the top level. But by not having on the topmost level, my game is going to slow down towards the end. If I really cranked it up, I'd have a fast game all the way through. But I'd also have one where it would be even more populations merged, and I'd have less variety. And I think with the current DLC and patch level 1.8, the Pivot of Empire, keeping some of that variety, I think, is important for the game. Even if performance suffers, my gameplay is, I feel, aided by not being totally aggressive, just mostly aggressive. I like canals add company capacity. I build a Suez or Panama Canal, I will get another company for that. It's important to remember that it's not just, if you want to do this the right way, you don't just grab another company and go, ha ha ha, I've got a free company. Wait until you complete the little thing that gives you the canal as a company and then select that. So now if you go off and build a canal, congratulations, you will get one more company. And there's a way to time it to where either you get the company once you complete the journal entry to build the canal, or you can get it to where it just turns on and you just got to remember to keep it ready. But either way, just you're on your own honor to turn on your own canal. Military treaties for militias. This is one that I think might get nerfed later on in like 1.9 or something. But if it doesn't, it's here. So that way your countries with national militia can still make a military treaty. Better decrees gives you more decrees types to add, and law and authority gives you more authority points based on your laws. In vanilla, as you become less authoritarian in your government type, you lose authority points until you're a democracy with nothing. But if you're a democracy and you've passed workplace safety laws and you've got some other things in place, you've got law enforcement going on, that gives you more authority, and that's what this mod does. I love it. I love playing with this one in Better Decrees. Some people have said they're overpowered for the way they're playing. Well, if it is overpowered for the way you play, don't load them. Turn them off, disable them, don't click on the link. These are all ones that I like in my game, but if you don't like them, you don't have to have them. All right? And I feel that they keep the game balanced. They don't make anything overpowered, which is important to me as well. Well, and then I say that, and then I get to Liberate Country as subject. This one was recently updated. Thank you, Kate the Sybil. And oh la la. Now, I'm the only one who uses it. The AI should be using it, but the player is the only one who does use it right now. This really needs to be in 1.9. If they're going to fix warfare, they've also got to fix the peace deals. So that way, when you liberate a country, it doesn't just go, thanks, guys, for making me free. Ha ha. Now I'll stick it to you by becoming an ally of the nation you just fought. No. Liberating country, there should be strings attached. I got you your freedom. I didn't get you freedom. I got you freedom. You're going, you may not be part of that other country, but you're going to be closely attached to this one here that got you out because you owe us big time. See, that's what this allows, and it's very nice for building out your blocks. Culture in shackles will take different cultures or like different that are enslaved, and they amalgamate in their destination area. This is very historical, actually, where you would have slave cultures from South Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, East Africa. If they're all on the same plantation, they don't split off into four groups. They mingle into each other, and they develop a very melting pot sort of culture. This is what's happened, and this is how I think it should be treated. It helps the game speed along, and it helps to prevent suddenly lacustrine Bantu being a larger population than Afro-Antillean in your area. Like, I mean, they should anyway. It helps works things through, and I think it is more realistic. Speaking of more realistic, Kuromi's AI. If you've got another AI that you like, use it instead of this one. That's fine. But it just helps the game make better decisions on investment. Very good. Hail Columbia. This is a flavor pack. Now, I've had some other flavor packs here before. This one is up to date, and it still works, and I think it's very well written. I want to keep using it. Some others, it's like, I don't know. I stopped using them because it's like, if you like them, go ahead. It's no reflection on you. It's just preference. But this one will have possible conflicts with the political and economic changes mod. So check with our Discord server for updates and details on what could be going on. Now, I believe there are some changes made in PEC to work with Hail Columbia. We've got those detailed, like when you start your game, if you have Hail Columbia active, turn this off, turn this on, and you'll be fine. I think it's the two-party system that I think you turn it off here so that way, because Hail Columbia will use its own two-party system, and you just go with that. Industry realism in between the two. This one splits everything out into a separate factory. I love it. It does not create new goods. Now, there is another mod that will split everything out, but also create new goods. I don't want to have that in my game. I want to keep the goods the way they are, so I use them, and that's why I use this guy. Also because both this mod creator and the PEC mod creator are active on my server, and they made a com patch for their two mods. Thanks, guys. You're awesome. So now they work very well together. And they're also working with another modder who's active on my server, Sasko, who does the Grand Revision. And eventually we're going to have a com patch to help iron out some issues there. More on Grand Revision in just a little bit here. Let's go through Recruit 5 Commanders, like the mod says. Make your railway profitable again, like the title says. Know when to hold them. This helps the AI either, like if it's a small country and you're a huge one and you're allied and it gets overrun, it won't surrender right away. It says, oh no, the big guys are coming. We'll be good. Likewise, if it's a small country and you just flattened it, it will say, bye, I need to tap out here. I have no territory. Why make this linger? We'll just end it. And it makes the wars end faster than they do in vanilla. This is a clutch mod here. I love it. Battle of the Alamo. If you're playing as Mexico and you want to make sure you get Texas, don't load this mod. If you want to make sure Texas is always in your game, load the mod. You'll always have a Texas. If you want it to be a crapshoot and say maybe there is, maybe there isn't, then don't load the mod. Whatever. Power plant spam fix will stop power plants from being spammed because it no longer makes heating or population heating connected to electricity. And then suddenly, because before that, you would have this sudden huge need for electricity because your population is freezing and you wind up doing nothing but building power plants for the rest of the game. That is not a game. That is a bad design thing that happens. So this fixes that. Banning peasant dividends, says bug fix. And maybe this gets ironed out later on, but right now, peasants getting dividends keeps them from leaving their subsistence agriculture, and you want them to do that. So let's not let them have dividends. You want dividends? Get into actual for real business. Smarter AI law enactment. You have your AI. It wants to enact a law. There you are. I mean, it's smarter about it. Like the title says, later African colonization. Like the title says, this now there have been some other mods that will that actually will slow down African colonization, but it will also uh, kind of make that colonization railroaded to follow certain areas. So you're going to build the map of Africa in 1914 that we have in real life will pretty much happen in that one. This mod will just make it to where quinine is a level 3 technology. And yes, West Africa will get colonized and Cameroon gets colonized, and you could break into East Africa, but I have a fix for that, and some in South Africa, but by and large, you don't get the middle area colonized until around late 1870s, which I think is a fine arrangement there. Better job seekers will let you see how many peasants plus unemployed are in a state. There is an issue with sorting if you're looking at just job seekers, it whatever. But if you sort by peasants first and then you go back to job seekers, you'll have numbers that are very close to each other. It'll be fine, especially if you have a lot of peasants. Now, if you have more unemployed than you have peasants, well, then obviously sort on unemployed and then go to job seekers, and then you'll have some pretty close numbers there, and you'll be fine with that. Expanded production menu takes the production menu and expands it. You get more information there, little stuff showing up. Now, I had another one that was an expanded construction bar. That sadly, looks like it's abandoned. And I'm very sad about that because it was a great one to have in 1.7. Somebody wants to make another, let me know, and I can add something like that to this list because that was a really slick mod to have. And now we're on the great revision here. This is from Sasko. The first one is production and trade. This helps the AI make some more decisions. It will work with Kuromi's AI. It adds on to that. This is a good one to have. The tax department has a possible conflict with the production and economic changes mod. And since I like that one very much, I leave this disabled so I can have my PEC. But there's a com patch hopefully on its way because I do like the tax department flexibility that I get in there. It's really nice. It allows me to be much more granular with how I'm setting my taxes. The AI doesn't get to do this. I get to have different tax areas and stuff that I'm taxing and fix that up. But with the PEC mod, it makes us lose a lot of money, and no, that's not right. Without the PEC mod, it'll play fine. Then also this one here, the cultural obsessions, it's a work in progress. I leave this disabled until it's ready, but once it's ready, I'll turn it on and go with it because, again, like the pop demand tweak, this one will help it to where, well, basically the people who really are crazy about coffee will demand it, and then Brazil can complete its river of coffee journal entry because the rest of the world wants to drink coffee, and it's not just 12 guys in England. Anyway, his mods here for German unification and Italian unification are very interesting. They will give a sort of a script of events to make sure that the AI does what it's supposed to do. Now, if you're a player and you're going along with this, there's some more potential enrichment. For the German unification, you may feel like you don't need it, or maybe it is. I don't know. But if you're not playing Prussia, you maybe want to have that going just to make sure that Prussia does its thing and forms Germany. If you're playing Austria and you want to form Germany, turn that off because this pretty much makes sure that Prussia will become big Germany. When there's the Brothers' War, it gives a good buff to the Prussian forces. Again, this is mostly to help the AI. But the Italian one has also got some events for Garibaldi and things like that. And I this one is tempting. People have a number of people have said, "Yo, you should do an Italian run." And when I did the Russian one instead. They go, "Oh man, I was hoping for Italian run." I'm like, well, okay, I still want to do it, and this one's now it's ready. I'd like to see Garibaldi in his red shirts. You know what I'm saying? All right. Leadership and politicians and better politics are two mods that go very well with each other. They allow you to, well, just read about them, but some of the cool stuff they can do is like selecting leaders for different interest groups. And you can't boost an interest group directly, but there's some other things you can do that will basically they'll want certain things passed, certain laws passed, or certain uh, policies in place that will actually boost their own power. So if you're getting at, basically they will start to ask you things like, "Hey, will you pass this law that gives us more power because we're in power right now?" Ooh, if you don't do it, they get mad and then they mess you up. But if you do it, then you're locked in. I like that kind of change. I like that kind of challenge where you don't just say, "Oh yeah, you lock in with this one political group and cruise." You pay a price. This makes sure you pay a price. I like that. So the great revision mods are great to have. Here's that naval battle size fix mod. Again, 1.9 may make this obsolete. Just Omani Kenya. This will fix colonization in East Africa. This is owned by Oman, and when Zanzibar uh, leaves Oman, it may take both or it may take just one. But or just the Zanzibar state. But at any rate, this prevents either France or Britain from jumping right on top of Kenya on day one and starting to and then have most of East Africa colonized by the time the scramble for Africa should be starting. Now the catch is the AI doesn't know it's supposed to go and invade that. So you may have to be the one to break in there. Like in my current Russian game, Russia is colonizing East Africa because it took the time to actually invade Zanzibar. uh, we really need a mod that allows those areas to either get sold off or push the AI to trying to get a hold of those. And I'll say this also about seeing Denmark holding a small port in India and some of the Andaman Islands. That's asking for trouble. Because if Germany demands those in a diplomatic play against Denmark, and they have, they have to go that way to get Schleswig and Holstein. If they demand those, then they wind up with a port in India. And really, it was a very inconsequential port. The Danes couldn't maintain it, so they sold it off to the British in 1868, I believe. But there's no event in the game for that. It's just there in 1836, and it stays there. And I'm thinking either one, get rid of it because no one ever used that as a stepping stone to start invading India, or have it be where the British will get involved if you demand that and they will make you try to undemand it, or have it be where we can do a better job of buying these things, these pieces of territory from smaller nations. Have a sort of a implied, we're going to take it from you if you don't let us buy it from you. I mean, that's how America got most of the Western states. It had offered to buy them from Mexico. Mexico said, no, that's very insulting. The United States invaded and then told Mexico in the peace deal, we're going to pay you some for it. But yeah, it was still insulting. But still, you could have avoided this whole war thing if he just paid us off, man. That needs to be a kind of a message in there. And there should be some mechanism for those areas to get taken over and not just sit there. That or fix it to where Africa doesn't get colonized too early. You decide, Paradox. Anyway, more icons for different orders. This is one that all the ones after this are new to what I've had before here. Like the name says, you get more icons, so that way when you're looking at trying to pick something for a commander to do, instead of escort merchant convoys looking the same as advanced escort or whatever, you have different icons, so you can visually see the difference. It is really nice there. This is one on government dividends efficiency. Now, the other ones we had were on throughput and debt. This fixes the dividends issue. Cultural acceptance tweaks, or CAT, works with the 1.8 cultural acceptance system. There were some things that actually got fixed in 1.8.6, but this now will still look at some other areas where we think there could still be a tweak for it. The developers didn't go that far. I like having it. It is a good thing. Colonization speed fix. Okay, the issue with colonization speed is that in vanilla, it's basically saying that we're going to require the same amount of time to colonize a state. So if a state has a large number of provinces, then you'll just burn through those really quickly. But if it only has, say, 3 provinces, because it's Fiji, each one of those takes forever to finish. And what colonization speed fix does is it actually reduces the time for a small area and increases the time for a larger area. So it's more, if it only has 3 provinces, you're going to colonize it pretty much more quickly than you would something that has 30 provinces. I like that. It makes more sense to me. So if you're trying to colonize Fiji, you have some very small islands to show up and plant your flag on, as opposed to all of Niger. That's a big area. That's not Fiji. This fixes that. Law enactment unblocker. Okay, you will have all these people protesting and trying to get things changed in your country, but the vanilla game doesn't let you pass that law. So they get very angry because you're not passing that law and have a revolt, and you're going, why? Why is my. Because not only that, but as they're getting angrier and angrier, your tax waste is just going out through the roof. Your tax revenue is going down. You're in a death spiral because nobody's paying their taxes because they're upset because you're not passing the law that they want you to pass, but you can't pass that law because nobody will allow you to start it. And they go, yeah, this gives a base 1% chance for just about every law that's there. Now, it's not going to mean you automatically can pass anything you want. There's still going to be some laws that just will be blocked off, either because you don't have the advancement for it, or no, it's just not going to happen. But other laws give you a small chance, and you roll the dice on it, and if you get a couple of plus 10% events, then it gets traction and you're able to pass it. If not, then it'll die and you try again in 2 years. But at least you've got a shot with it now. And if you've got the legislative innovation focus mandate focus for your block, you can actually take that little 1% chance and it will run with it. Or if you have the great reformer in Russia, like, oh my gosh, I'm passing laws like they're going out of style. And that keeps the people happy. This is a very important thing to have. So you'll get a 1% minimum, but at least you'll have it. You'll have the ability to start working on the law to appease the people who are about to go into a bloody revolution. Customized formation gives you a whole lot more of these little icons for your formations and a whole lot more colors. It's not a must-have. It is a nice-to-have, but I have it. Trade rework. I have had this one before, but I'm loading it later on. This will fix trade so that way it uses a lot less, a lot fewer convoys for volume and a lot less administration for handling your routes. And as a result, you have a lot more trade going on in the game. This is good. We need a lot more trade to happen in the game so that way small countries that are not part of a larger market can still reap the benefits of trading with other nations and not just go, well, we're importing grain and trees from Russia, so we ran out of our convoys and admin. We can't bring in your coffee, Brazil. Sorry. The matter of Hungary fix will probably be something that gets taken care of in a later build. There's like a little bug on the matter of Hungary in the Austrian journal entry. This will fix that. Religious acceptance tweaks, or RAT. It's from the same guy that gave us the cat. cultural acceptance tweaks. It fixes it to where you'll be able to work with religion better, and it just read the thing for it. It's a lot better that way. Assimilation rework will it all happened so fast. There, I think in 186 there were some fixes to assimilation, so that way you wouldn't have like British East India Company turning everybody in India into British Protestant white males. Are like, how'd that happen? It changes it. Now there are still some other things that 186 doesn't do that assimilation rework does tend to, and I like the fine tuning that this mod does. And now that gets me to my last mod, which is called Yet Another Cheat Mod But Improved. I leave this disabled. The mod is highly unstable. The mod author says, please don't click much, it crashes. I think it's still built for 1.7 or something. So if you load this mod, you're going to see some weird stuff happening on the GUI. Do your cheat, make what needs to happen, save your game, and get out. Disable the mod, reload the game. It'll say, oh, you're missing the mod. Yeah, I know. Just go. And you'll be fine. I try to not run the game at all with this on, or maybe just a week at most, or a month. That's pushing it, because it's very unstable, and the GUI goes nuts. And you've been warned. Now, when do I use this mod? Yeah, if there's something where I think no, that there's no way that should have happened, and I need to go fix something in a game to make it better so I can keep playing the game. This can help with that, but highly unstable. So that's why I leave it turned off most of the time. All right, and then here's where I have pinned the mod list as a text file. There's a JSON file and the instructions. So, and again, you find those by clicking on pinned messages, and they're available for you here. JSON file, of course, can, for some people, it has produced issues, and if it's just too difficult for you, then go through these and click on them and then click subscribe. And yeah, I know that's a lot of clicking. Guess what I had to do to build this? I had to do a lot of clicking and copying and pasting. So, we can all do this. It's a labor of love. It's like gardening. You pull the weeds and then you get it all fixed up and whoa, get out of there. And right now there's only 78. And if you don't do the cheat mod, there's only 77. So there you are. I do note which ones are disabled in my game and which ones might cause conflicts and to watch out for, and they're all there. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful for you. Come by my Discord server to see this very channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I've had a lot of people telling me I'm the only YouTuber that does this list. So, this is a list that needs doing. If you want to keep it going, if you like and comment and subscribe, it tells YouTube to get this information out to other people. And maybe we'll see some other people making mod lists, which would be nice. You'd have some choices here. Or at least more people will find out about it, which would also be nice, because then they would know about it. And then we could all get together and have love and affection for each other and just be solid. And all right, I'm getting mushy. Anyway, have fun playing Victoria 3, mod list for 1.8.6 right here. We'll see you next time on the Flippity Flip. And bye for now.